Hello, good afternoon. You're watching TVRI World. Welcome to our special report, Papal Blessing at the Cathedral. We will now broadcast live the historic visit of the leader of the Roman Catholic Church and head of state of Vatican City, Pope Francis, to the cathedral in Jakarta.
That's right, Siska. Earlier this morning and yesterday, Pope Francis began his agenda to Merdeka Presidential Palace in Jakarta and was welcomed by President Joko Widodo personally. This meeting marks a significant moment in the history of diplomatic relations between Indonesia and the Vatican, which have been established for over 70 years.
Yes, and aside from that, Pope Francis also held a special meeting with the priests from the Society of Jesus, or Indonesian Jesuit Order, a meeting full of significance for the religious community in the country.
And this afternoon, Pope Francis will meet with bishops, priests, deacons, nuns, seminarians, and catechists at Jakarta Cathedral. Undoubtedly, a significant moment for the church and Catholic community in Indonesia.
That's right. So follow along on the report of this event, the Papal Blessing at the Cathedral, only on TVRI World. We also have here with us our guests, Father Tiro Angelo Danui, SJ, and Father B.S. Mardiat Mojo, SJ, who will be with us giving their insights and to walk us through this afternoon's agenda of the Pope at the Cathedral. Good afternoon,
Thank
Father
you very
Mardi.
much.
Father,
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for squeezing us into your very busy time. I can only imagine it must be such an exhilarating time.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
To be here.
So let's begin with the program today.
So let's begin with the program of what's been happening of today and yesterday. The Pope also arrived in Jakarta, and the leader of Catholic Church, Pope Francis, is currently on his apostolic visit to Indonesia until Friday, September 6, 2024. Among his agenda, the Pope will visit the Cathedral Church in central Jakarta and involved in launching collective artwork project by Scholas Occurrentes Youth.
Jakarta Cathedral spokesperson Susi Suwadi says the church continues to prepare for the visit of Pope Francis, which is set for Wednesday, September 4th. She says that at Jakarta Cathedral, the Pope will have an audience with regional bishops, priests, and other church members, and followed by blessings to the people.
Pertemuan uskup, kemudian imam, suster, katekis, dan animator. Nah, itu kemudian tentu saja pertemuannya akan berlangsung di pukul 16.30. Nah, 16.30 ini diawali sebelumnya, 1 jam sebelumnya dengan ibadat sore hari, yaitu ibadat Vesper bagi yang sudah hadir di sini. Karena nanti akan umat yang akan hadir di sini sekitar kurang lebih 1.200. Dari mulai ibadatnya 15.30 itu akan selesai di 17.35. Nah, kemudian,
the Pope is also set to hold a separate meeting with the Scholas Occurrentes at GRHA Pemuda Youth Center. Scholas Occurrentes is a non-profit organization of young people founded by Pope Francis and operates in over 190 countries. During the meeting, the Pope is scheduled to view and participate in an art installation titled The Heart of Indonesia. Initiated by Scholas Occurrentes, the installation features a diversity of artistic objects as well as writings and wishes from the people of Indonesia. The artwork project manager, Pablo Palmeiro, says there are 1,500 people of different backgrounds involved in the project.
You can see here this Heart Indonesia, how we found different triangles. Each triangle is different from the other, is unique, and it was made for more than 1,500 people. Involving also here different communities from different backgrounds, socioeconomicals, and religions.
Pope Francis is scheduled to write a message in the heart-shaped art installation. His involvement in the art project will hopefully become a message from Indonesia to the world. The 87-year-old Pope is scheduled to arrive at the Soekarno-Hatta Airport on Tuesday afternoon. The Pope will then take a rest first before conducting a number of agendas in Jakarta until Friday, September 6th.
So that's one of the agendas that was enjoyed by Pope Francis during his visit here in Indonesia. And earlier this morning, as you have mentioned, Stephanie, Pope Francis visited the presidential palace and met with President Joko Widodo and a lot of ministers and a lot of dignitaries from the Indonesian government in a very solemn ceremony, I would say. You were there to host the special report.
Yes.
How was it?
Well, even we just saw it on the screen, but we still can feel the vibe, the majestic vibes also.
And today, Pope Francis is expected to give blessing to many Indonesian priests, bishops, and seminarians at the cathedral in Jakarta. And to talk about this very specific event, we have now the honor of having these two guests, Father Tiro Angelo Danui, SJ, and Father B.S. Mardiat Mojo, to help us walk through the blessing by Pope Francis in Jakarta. So once again, Father Tiro, Father Mardi, thank you so much for helping us, to give us your insights, and for giving us your valuable time.
You are welcome.
So before we talk specifically about the blessing today in the cathedral, maybe we can go back to the first day of the arrival of Pope Francis. Now, so far, we've seen such a warm welcome from the Indonesian people, and not just by the Catholic community. All Indonesians are very happy and excited to receive Pope Francis. It's the first visit by a Pope that we've had for the past 35 years. The last one was in 1989. So a lot of people who had the pleasure of living during the time of that visit is now much older and very happy indeed to have another Pope visiting Indonesia. Now I would get your thoughts on this particular visit by Pope Francis, Father Mardi.
You have said much older, because I was present in the first visit, and I was also present in the second visit.
Okay, so in 1970 and 1989.
Yes.
Oh wow!
And
so
then
this is your
in the third
visit
also. And I have to say that I am very glad to be able to welcome those two people, excuse me, the expression, two people, two popes.
Okay.
Because the first one was already a very world person, and the second was also very important for the whole world. And now that is the third person, the third Pope, and I have to admit that I have to be saying it was very beautiful, although it was not luxurious and not very, well, very, I don't know how to say it. It was not very
grand,
grand and so on. It was very
simple.
Very simple. And especially when I saw how he tried to leave the aircraft, I have to say, he is so very sick. And I have to say that he 6 years older than me now.
Okay.
And so very, well, I have to say that he is so old. And
87 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
And he was willing, he is willing to visit us. I have to say, what a good person he is.
I think he mentioned at the beginning of his flight when he came here, this is going to be the longest flight I'll ever take in my life.
He did,
Of course, it was an honor for Indonesia as a nation to receive Pope Francis in this trip, because we are the first country to be visited. In this trip.
And I have to say that Alitalia is not the best.
It went bankrupt, by the way.
Huh?
It went bankrupt. It's now Italian
Not
Airlines.
the best one in the world, But still, I live in Italy, and that's why that I belong also to Italy, and that's why that is also a kind of being together in the place where you are living, and that's why that they are all my friends, my relatives, and so on.
Yeah, a feeling of fraternity and brotherhood. I think that's one of the main messages that His Holiness wants to put forward in this visit. Father Tiro, I think Father Mardi has made a great point on the one thing that has impressed the Indonesian people very much is His Holiness's simplicity.
Yeah.
So much down to earth in this visit. He is the leader of the World Catholic Church with 1 billion followers in the world, and yet he flies in a commercial aircraft. He stays at the embassy of Vatican instead of a presidential suite.
Yes.
He sat at the front.
He sits in the front of a very normal car, nothing fancy about the car.
To the public.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain a little bit more about this gesture that is made by Pope Francis.
I think, for one, it's been such a blessing for us to be able to experience, especially with nowadays with social media, having all eyes on him, and it's like he knows that as a leader of the Catholic Church and also a person who needs to live out Christian values of simplicity and humility, is something that is not only done through words but actually manifested in how the country is. You know, for example, because it's Indonesia, and then he would go on a kijang. He would sit in the front. You know, he insists that he takes the simple path because that is, as a leader, that's how he teaches. How, especially for me as a young priest, you know, how I should be as well. So it's been very, very powerful. And then I remember I was at home with my family, so I have my family. I have Muslim relatives. We were watching the TV together, and it was just like the shared moment of joy. You know, it's not only for us Catholics, but for all Indonesians, and to see the reception on social media, people saying that I am Muslim, and then I welcome the Pope. You know, it's something that brings this nation so much joy and so much positivity, and hopefully it could inspire more people to become more loving, compassionate, and also simple. So it doesn't take much.
It has been very heartwarming indeed.
It did,
to see the reaction from the people of the arrival of Pope Francis in Indonesia.
Yeah, like I said, even just by seeing him on screen, it's still like, you know, like transferring the positive energy to the public as well, to Indonesian. So, Father Mardi, I was curious because you witnessed, you attended the 2 Pope's visit, right? So this is your 3rd Pope visit that you were going to attend tomorrow. So what were the difference actually, or what will be the difference you see, like the enthusiasm of the people back then?
It is very difficult to say the difference between those 3 popes. But I would like to underline what Father Tiro has said, but from other point of view. Namely, Father Tiro has said about brotherhood and so on. And I remember that some years ago, this person, Pope Francis, has written, and as a pope, he has to write many things. And it is not very difficult, excuse me the expression, it is very difficult for priests and cardinals and so on to write on anything, because we have to say something, we have to write something. But these days I have not seen a writer. I have seen somebody who execute what he has written. And that is for me very important.
Okay.
And it was a very good learning for me that if you say something, you have to have it also in your heart.
Yeah.
And you have to practice it.
Yeah.
And that is very difficult for us, excuse me the expression, priests. Yeah. We talked very much.
Okay.
The problem is whether we have executed it. Because it is not very difficult to write. It is not very difficult to say something.
Preach.
But to exactly do what we have said and what we have written, that is something that the Lord has given to us.
Okay.
I have to say, like what the Pope has said also to us, it is not me that have done all that have thought about it. It was the Holy Spirit who has invited us and who has invited us to receive what the Lord has given to him, and also then to spread the whole teaching of the Lord to us. And that is more important than just writing something or saying something or even singing something. because there are now so many beautiful songs
Yeah.
that was sung and written. The problem is, have we practiced it?
Okay.
Like they said,
Have we put it into practice?
Like they said, actions speak louder than words, right?
Yeah.
But,
To lead by example.
Yes.
Although he is technically a preacher, but do not just preach the words, but actually do them.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's very fascinating. Thank you, Romo
Thank
Mardin.
you.
Now, Father Tiro, maybe if you can talk a little bit more about this particular visit, especially about the theme. Now, we've heard that the theme on this particular visit is faith, fraternity, and compassion. Could you tell us a little bit more, the reason behind it?
I think when we talk about faith, you know, faith is something that's very personal. It's something that we practice, and it's something that only our Creator and us know. I mean, we could be doing all acts of faith, going to church or praying in public, and this is something that people see. But true faith is something that comes from the heart, and then how that is expressed, you know, how you express what you believe in your faith, and that is expressed through fraternity, or fraternity and compassion. Fraternity, brotherhood, being one human race, despite of our differences, our languages, our religious beliefs, and practicing that through compassion, by showing mercy, by having a heart to listen to others, and no longer judging people by how they are, or what they wear, or what language they speak. And this is something that maybe even like highlights what already exists in Indonesia. We already have that tolerance. We already have that maybe more than 70 years of harmony. Of course, with a little bit of this and that. But having the Pope come here like shows us that this is something that is very Indonesian, and it's something that is universal, and it's something that is also very Christian. And hopefully with this visit, it makes us even proud as Indonesians to know that you know, we are a nation of multi-ethnicities, of languages and religions, and we still exist. It's not perfect, but we're always trying, and having him come inspires us to, you know, just keep doing good and learning more and appreciating others. So I think this theme is very, it very fits everything, basically. Yeah.
And I think that's also what was being delivered in Pope Francis' speech this morning, when he also mentioned about Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, keep living in harmony, right? So how do you see that, the message of the speech of the Pope Francis, Father Mardi, this morning? Well, he was saying it in all Italian, but
the presidential palace,
the presidential
in its
palace
opening
this morning.
remarks,
Yes.
I would like to try to speak with example.
Okay.
You have it here, and very beautiful. We have also this. It is everything that we have we have bought. But there is a very good thing that my mother, for example, has told me.
Okay.
Yes, it is good, it is beautiful, but do you know that it was dropped here from everywhere, from somewhere? No, it is from God. Teaching our children to understand that everything that we have is from God, is something that we Indonesians, I think, have learned from our mothers. What does it mean? Our mother is not disciple from everywhere. No. Our mothers, excuse me, you as mothers perhaps, you have taught the children to understand his own life, her own life, coming from the Lord. And that is something that we have learned from, who is it? From the proclamators of our Indonesian state. That we begin everything with Ketuhanan Yang Maha Esa, believing in one God. It is very, very important, but it is very simple. Just teaching small children to understand. Of course, we have God.
Okay. Excuse me, Father Mardi, if we can now go to the live feed. I think Pope Francis, yes, there he is. He has arrived in the cathedral in Jakarta. We can see everybody is also there, ready to welcome him, giving him the warmest welcome possible. I think there's a lady that got through the security,
to approach him,
right through the window.
He's giving something to the
That's
children.
a rosary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, he's seated at the
yeah?
front, right, next to the driver.
He keeps the consistency by sitting at the front.
She's trying to turn on her
Again,
camera.
with the same car that picked him
to
up.
greet people.
The security are being as patient as possible to accommodate.
And he's also very generous.
Yes.
With his time
And here also, you are child of God.
Yes.
I am child of God.
Yeah.
We are brothers.
Yeah.
And he is very friendly to the small children.
Yep.
That's why saying, not only asking and teaching, but saying and expressing that we are brothers.
Yes.
You Indonesians and we and so on. Even if I am sick, I am not very healthy, but we belong to the same person as brothers, as sisters. And that is very important.
Yes.
That's the message
Yeah.
to
That is
Indonesia.
a very good teaching.
Yes.
Look at it. Very simple.
So finally, the leader of the Catholic Church Pope Francis arrives at the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption. Father Mardi, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the history of the cathedral in Jakarta and how it is special to the Catholic community in Indonesia. What's the historical significance of the cathedral?
The historical significance is that cathedral is our main church building, our main church. It was begun last century, and we know that 1808 the Catholicism came to Indonesia through our older brothers and sisters, and then we have learned to understand that the Lord come to us through Jesus Christ, together with our friends, our brothers and our sisters. We believe it. We believe in Jesus Christ, sent by God to come to us, to be brothers. Jesus Christ has told us that He is our brother. No, He is our friend. Well, in Indonesian it is much better. Sahabat. It is much more important than just, excuse me, friend. A very good friend. And that is what our Pope has tried to say. Look at that. How he tried to express his friendship.
Each child is welcomed personally by the Pope. That is such a generous gesture.
Friendship is not something that should be written.
Those kids are going to remember this day for the rest of their lives. This is something that will be embedded in their memory.
Yes, something they cannot forget.
I think I can imagine that in 15 years, those children would remember all that.
Of course.
And even now, like, this is such a beautiful moment with having the mosque in the back.
Yes, exactly.
So it highlights that, you know, peace among religions is possible, and it is happening in Indonesia every single day. And I think that's why this visit by the Pope is very significant, especially in the condition of the world that we live in. And Indonesia has this treasure from the Far East to share to the world that, hey, you know, I mean, it's no big deal, right?
Do you think that is one of the reasons why Pope Francis chose Indonesia to be the first country that he visited during this trip? Because we are a Muslim majority, we are located so far away from he is located in Southeast Asia, but yet he makes this visit to give that message to the world that peace and tolerance is possible.
I think he knows very well there are so many Muslims here, but he is not afraid of that situation.
I think that is also probably one of the reasons subliminally that he's making with opening up his window to show everyone it's a very safe country. I can drive safely in my car, go around town, right?
Exactly, and it's such a positive image for Indonesia. I mean, even with all that has happened in the last 20 years, there is still that, you know, being from this remote part of the world, people don't know, people only talk about Bali. And then him coming to Jakarta, the capital city, sort of like helps us show Indonesia to the world what we are really, what we stand for. In all its diversity.
He is now entering
the cathedral.
And you know that not far from that place, some young men and women in 1924 has began a meeting and also in writing music to do what? To prepare for the Congress Pemuda.
Youth Congress.
It was in that place. And then Indonesia Raya was written also in that place. In that time,
Wage Rudolf Supratman, yeah.
for Wage Rudolf Supratman.
Wow, such historical significance.
Yes.
Happened on this very spot.
2 years before that, it was a time very important
Father,
for
can you
Jakarta.
tell us what just happened to our viewers who are watching, especially those who are not Catholic?
That was
Holy water.
holy water.
Okay.
So it's tradition. It's for us Catholics before we enter church. The holy water signifies us basically like preparing ourselves, cleansing ourselves, our hearts, in order to become present for the Lord. So in a way, it's sort of like wudu maybe, but there is the same element of water.
To cleanse,
to cleanse,
to purify us,
to bless us with the water.
Everybody who are there,
it's already very full.
Holified.
Just look inside the cathedral. Everybody is so excited to meet His Holiness.
Goosebumps.
You know,
I've been having goosebumps from the first time he arrived there at the front area, out of his car.
My parents got married here.
Oh,
so
wonderful!
It's so like it's such a powerful moment.
You know that even among the Catholics, it is not easy to have that kind of meeting.
That kind of interaction. It's very rare.
So that kind of blessing, he, as part of the traditions, so he actually gave it to everyone that he passes by, or it's just for, you know, like only for the priests only?
Well, it is not only that. Of course, it is a very special meeting. But there are also moments where we can make also that kind of meetings.
Would you know about the attendees of this particular event here at the cathedral, the papal blessing, who are in attendance right now?
Well, they are all Catholics because only those who have papers and invitation can enter at that time. But there are various moments, various possibilities that non-Catholic can enter also cathedral.
So at this event right now, it's basically the Catholic Church. So there are people who become priests and brothers and sisters. So these are individuals who decided that they want to dedicate their lives to God through religious service. So they take vows of celibacy, of poverty, and of obedience. So what you see over here are the sisters, priests, and brothers who are in charge of, how do you say, teaching and mentoring young people who want to join into the religious orders. So, and if you listen to the song right now, basically shows how Indonesian Catholicism is expressed through local music. So I think it's Batak. It's like so the Batak people created this melody and then added the lyrics.
So it's like the marriage between tradition, specific ethnicities with Catholicism, expressed right here to welcome Pope Francis. Very special indeed. Very Indonesian.
Very Indonesian.
And we have to say thank you that it is possible for those Pope to pray for us.
So for religious, there are the Vespers, and it's basically 4 times that we pray. It's almost like Salat. So morning, afternoon, and then evening,
Bishop
and
Antonius,
closing.
the president of the Indonesian Bishop Conference, who will deliver the opening speech.
Ibadat sore, Vesper, right?
Yes, Vesper. Evening prayer.
Evening prayer.
All right, we're now going to go to the
Dear Holy Father, we love and admire you so much. We would like to express our gratitude to God and to your holiness for showing us your paternal love and kindness by visiting us. The long journey must have been tiring, but we are joyful that you are here with us. You are always joyful, keep smiling to us, giving us blessing. Your presence bring hope not only for the Indonesian Catholic community, which consists of 37 dioceses and 1 military ordinariate, but also for the diverse Indonesian nation. And thank you, Holy Father. This year, you erect one of new diocese of Labuan Bajo, which will be erected in next November. May your presence among us strengthen our faith to live according to God's command and the church teaching in order to build the true fraternity, which is manifested through an attitude of compassion, especially towards those on the peripheries of society. It is our hope that following the theme of your apostolic visit, faith, fraternity, and compassion, we will increasingly seek an encounter with God that manifests the joy of the gospel, creates a culture of encounter in which we see others as a brother and sister, and restores the integrity of creation by listening to the cry of the poor and of the earth, our common home. We are also grateful for your charity as a shepherd, who at times walk behind us to encourage us, at other times walk alongside to inspire us, and when necessary, walks in front of us to be an example of how we should journey toward holiness. Together with my brother bishop, who are celebrating 100 years of the Indonesian Catholic Bishop Conference, and 10 Asian and Australian bishops here, as well as the clergy, consecrated men and women, catechists, and other lay faithful, we asked for your prayers and blessing so that we can walk together to build up the synodal church in Indonesia and the nation with faith, fraternity, and compassion. We will also always continue to pray for you, Most Holy Father. Thank you.
Holy Father, the journey of the Catholic faith in Indonesia is the story of synodality, strengthened by the Holy Spirit to walk among together the people of God with our neighbor. Father Maxi Unbria, the chair of Indonesian Diocesan Priest Community, and Sister Rina MC will share with us their story, how they live out their calling and share the joy of the gospel in their mission in Indonesia. We welcome Father Maxi and Sister Rina MC.
His Holiness Pope Francis, we, UNIO Indonesia, Indonesian Federation of Diocesan Priests, today we are more than 2,600 priests would like to welcome His Holiness Pope Francis to Indonesia. We thank God that the visit of the Pope to Indonesia is a clear sign of the presence of divine joy to the Indonesian people and a blessing for us diocesan priests together with the priests of congregation and consecrated life who are walking hand in hand together serving the people of the particular church in Indonesia. Indonesia, as a pluralistic country in which diaspora churches live, has received attention and protection from both the Pope and the government. Unio Indonesia is ready to work together with Pope Francis, Nuncio, the Cardinal, the Bishop, the priest, brother and sister of all congregation and the people of God in bringing joy and peace to the people of Indonesia and the world with the one spirit, unity in diversity to glorify God and serve the people. Thank you, His Holiness Pope Francis.
Carissimo Papa Francesco, a nome di tutti i religiosi in Indonesia, esprimo profonda gratitudine per la sua visita, che ispira e rafforza la nostra consacrazione verso Dio. Nonostante l'immensità dell'Indonesia, ci sentiamo uniti nel nostro lavoro, sostenuti dalla Chiesa e dalla Conferenza Episcopale Indonesiana. Sentiamo di essere invitati a camminare insieme nel nostro pellegrinaggio ed è nostra responsabilità rispondere a questo invito, non solo a livello comunitario o congregazionale, ma anche con Sua Santità e tutta la Chiesa. Tuttavia affrontiamo sfide nell'accedere e comprendere i documenti provenienti da Roma a causa delle barriere geografiche e linguistiche e anche per tutti i requisiti da soddisfare, i permessi e i contributi che devono essere presentati al Vaticano nel processo di traduzione. Molti documenti ancora non sono disponibili nella lingua indonesiana. Speriamo che Sua Santità possa aiutarci in questa faccenda affinché possiamo unirci ed essere in armonia con la Chiesa universale e camminare insieme in sinodalità. Y por último, permita que le hable en español para hacerle llegar los saludos cariñosos, especialmente de parte de mis hermanas misioneras clarisas del Santísimo Sacramento, diciendo que lo queremos muchísimo y agradecemos por su ser, que para nosotras es Papa queridísimo y pastor. Cuente con nuestras oraciones y sacrificios de cada día. Le pedimos su bendición apostólica sobre todos nosotros para que, respondiendo al llamado de Dios, podamos llevar alegría y ser testigos vivos del amor de Cristo. Tante gracias, Santo Padre.
¿De dónde aprendiste castellano y español?
En Roma.
¿En Roma?
Sí. Tante gracias.
Para ti, de adelante, no pierdas la ilusión. ¿Cuántas rodillas tienes?
7.
Bueno, la gracia a Dios.
Gracias.
Holy Father, the role of laity and lay leadership in the Catholic Church is always prominent from time to time, including in their involvement as the teacher of faith. The following two testimonies will be delivered by two catechists, Mr. Nicholas Wijaya and Mrs. Agnes Natalia, who have devoted themselves to teaching religious education in their dioceses and schools. We now welcome Mr. Nicholas and Mrs. Agnes.
Holy Father, thank you for coming to Indonesia. Thank you for your coming in Indonesia, and it's really encouraging us, catechists who work in this land of diversity. Thanks be to God, because the Holy Father always uses the term bridge as an analogy for the church presence in society. Specifically in the encyclical Fratelli Tutti, the Holy Father says, like Our Lady, we must be a church that serves, goes out from the sacristy, and builds bridges of dialogue. As catechists, we constantly remind our students of the message of the encyclical. Pray for us, Holy Father, that as catechists, we can be the bridge that unites many people to build other bridges, so that through the various bridges of dialogue, we can always present the face of Christ with compassion.
Nicholas, my name is Nicholas. 31 years. Thank you.
Your Holiness, allow me to share my feelings. Pope Francis is a man of great concern for the preservation of nature and for the small, the poor, the weak, the marginalized, and the disabled. His concern for nature and the poor can be seen in the statement he made during the weekly audience in St. Peter's Square on Wednesday, June 5, 2013, to mark the UN World Environment Day. He said, wasting food is like stealing food from the table of the poor and hungry. These words are similar to his first apostolic encyclical Laudato Si on May 24, 2015, concerning about Mother Earth as a common home. He also showed great concern for the disabled by saying that everyone is beautiful in the eyes of God. He made the statement when he was welcoming children with autism spectrum disorders from the Sonnenschein Ambulatorium in St. Pölten, Austria, who came to the Vatican on Monday, September 21st, 2020. He truly represented Saint Francis of Assisi, whom he took as his papal patron name in action. Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Compliments. Dire che io assomiglio a San Francisco di Assisi. È coraggiosa questa, ma forse assomiglio al lupo meglio, no? Grazie. E con te davanti io vorrei dirvi una cosa, mettiti da qui. La Chiesa, dobbiamo pensare questo, la Chiesa la portano avanti i catechisti. I catechisti sono coloro che vanno avanti, E poi vengono le suorine, subito, dopo i catechista. Poi vengono i preti o il vescovo, ma i catechisti sono al fronte, sono la forza della Chiesa. Una volta, in uno di quei viaggi in Africa, un presidente della Repubblica mi ha detto che
il suo discorso.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buongiorno. Ci sono cardinali, ci sono vescovi, ci sono preti, ci sono suori, ci sono le laiche, i laici, ci sono i bambini, ma tutti siamo fratelli. Non è più importante il Papa, il cardinale, il vescovo, tutti fratelli. Ognuno ha il suo compito per far crescere il popolo di Dio. Capito? Saluto i cardinali, i vescovi, i sacerdoti, i diaconi, le consacrate, i consacrati, i seminaristi e i catechisti presenti. Quanti seminaristi ci sono? Alzate la mano. Seminaristi.
Berapa orang seminaris di sini? Calon imam seminaris.
Sono nascosti, hanno vergogna.
Sono dietro sul palco, sul coro.
Ringrazio il Presidente della Conferenza per le sue parole e anche i fratelli e le sorelle che hanno condiviso con noi le loro testimonianze. Come è stato ricordato, il motto scelto per questa visita apostolica è fede, fraternità, compassione. Penso che siano tre virtù che esprimono bene sia il vostro cammino di Chiesa, sia la vostra indole di popolo, etnicamente e culturalmente molto varia, ma al tempo stesso caratterizzata da una connaturale tensione all'unità e alla convivenza pacifica, come testimoniano i principi tradizionali della Pancasila. Vorrei riflettere insieme con voi su queste tre parole.
Saudara-saudari sekalian, selamat sore. Di sini saya melihat ada kardinal, uskup-uskup, pastor-pastor, romo-romo, suster-suster, awam, yang besar dan yang kecil. Semuanya hadir di sini. Tidak merupakan sebuah perbedaan di antara kita. Semua kita adalah saudara. Dan saya diberikan tanggung jawab untuk menumbuh dan mengembangkan gereja Katolik. Saya ingin menyapa semua yang hadir di sini. Saya juga ingin berterima kasih kepada Ketua Konferensi Wali Gereja Indonesia untuk sambutannya. Demikian juga kepada saudara dan saudari kita yang telah membagikan kesaksiannya dengan kita. Seperti yang Anda sekalian ketahui, moto yang dipilih untuk kunjungan apostolik ini adalah iman, persaudaraan, dan bela rasa. Saya pikir ketiga keutamaan ini mengungkapkan dengan baik perjalanan Anda sebagai sebuah gereja dan karakter Anda sebagai sebuah bangsa yang secara etnik dan budaya berbeda. Pada saat yang sama, Anda sekalian dicirikan oleh sebuah pergumulan yang dalam untuk mewujudkan persatuan dan kehidupan bersama yang bersatu dan damai, seperti yang dicerminkan oleh prinsip-prinsip tradisional Pancasila. Sekarang saya ingin bersama Anda merefleksikan tentang tiga kata tersebut.
La prima parola è fede. L'Indonesia è un grande paese con enormi ricchezze naturali a livello di flora, di fauna, di risorse energetiche e di materie prime e così via. Una ricchezza così grande potrebbe facilmente trasformarsi, letta con superficialità, in motivo di orgoglio e di presunzione, ma se considerata con mente e cuore aperti può essere invece richiamo a Dio, alla sua presenza nel cosmo e nella sua vita, nella nostra vita, come ci insegna È il Signore, infatti, che dona tutto questo. Non c'è un centimetro del meraviglioso territorio indonesiano, né un istante della vita di ognuno dei suoi milioni di abitanti che non sia dono del Signore, segno del suo amore gratuito e preveniente di Padre. E guardare tutto questo con umili occhi di figli ci aiuta a credere, a riconoscerci piccoli e amati e a coltivare sentimenti di gratitudine e di responsabilità. Ce n'ha parlato Agnes a proposito del nostro rapporto con il creato e con i fratelli. È stata brava. Specialmente i più bisognosi, da vivere con uno stile personale e comunitario improntato al rispetto, alla civiltà e all'umanità con sobrietà e carità francescana.
Yang pertama, iman. Indonesia adalah sebuah negara besar dengan banyak kekayaan alam, terutama marga dan satwa, sumber daya energi, bahan baku, dan seterusnya. Kalau dilihat secara sepintas, kekayaan yang begitu besar ini dapat menjadi alasan untuk menjadi sombong atau angkuh. Tetapi kalau dilihat dengan pikiran dan hati yang terbuka, kekayaan ini sebaliknya dapat menjadi pengingat akan Allah, akan kehadirannya di alam semesta dan dalam hidup kita, seperti yang diajarkan kitab suci pada kita. Sesungguhnya Tuhanlah yang memberikan semua ini kepada kita. Tidak ada sejengkal pun dari wilayah Indonesia yang menakjubkan ini, dan tidak ada satu momen pun dalam kehidupan jutaan penduduknya yang bukan merupakan anugerah dari Allah. Sebuah tanda akan kasih-Nya yang cuma-cuma dan abadi sebagai Bapa. Melihat semua yang telah diberikan pada kita dengan mata anak-anak yang ugahari, membantu kita untuk percaya, untuk mengenal diri kita sendiri sebagai insan kecil dan dikasihi, dan untuk memelihara rasa syukur dan tanggung jawab. Tadi Agnes berbicara tentang ini ketika ia mengundang kita untuk menjalin relasi kita dengan alam ciptaan dan dengan saudara dan saudari kita, khususnya dengan mereka yang paling membutuhkan, melalui gaya hidup pribadi dan komunal yang ditandai oleh sikap menghormati, keadaban dan rasa peri kemanusiaan bersamaan dengan ketentraman dan kasih Fransiskan.
Dopo la fede, la seconda parola del motto è fraternità. Una pretesa del Novecento ha usato un'espressione molto bella, una poetessa molto bella per descrivere questo atteggiamento. Ha scritto che essere fratelli vuol dire amarsi riconoscendosi diversi come due gocce d'acqua. È bello, Ed è proprio così. Non ci sono due gocce di acqua uguali una all'altra, né ci sono due fratelli nemmeno gemelli completamente identici. Vivere la fraternità allora vuol dire accogliersi a vicenda riconoscendosi uguali nella diversità. Dai, continua. Traduce adesso.
Setelah iman, kata kedua dari moto kunjungan ini adalah persaudaraan. Seorang penyair abad 20 menggunakan sebuah ungkapan yang sangat indah untuk menggambarkan sikap ini. Seorang penyair, dia menulis bahwa menjadi saudara dan saudari artinya mencintai satu sama lain dengan mengakui bahwa masing-masing pribadi sama berbedanya seperti dua tetes air. Nulla due volte accade, itu dalam buku tersebut.
Anche questo è un valore caro alla tradizione della Chiesa indonesiana, che si manifesta nell'apertura con cui essa si relaziona alle varie realtà che la compongono e la circondano, a livello culturale, etnico, sociale e religioso, valorizzando l'apporto di tutti e donando generosamente il suo in ogni contesto. Questo, fratelli e sorelle, è importante, perché annunciare il Vangelo non vuol dire imporre o contrapporre la propria fede a quella degli altri, non vuol dire fare proselitismo, no, vuol dire donare e condividere la gioia dell'incontro con Cristo e sempre con grande rispetto e affetto fraterno per chiunque. E in questo vi invito a mantenervi sempre così, aperti e amici di tutti. E quell'espressione mi piace tanto, no? Mano nella mano, mano nella mano. Andare così, come ha detto Don Maxi, profeti di comunione in un mondo dove sembra invece sia crescendo sempre più la tendenza a dividersi, imporsi e provocarsi a vicenda. Stai attento. E su questo voglio dirvi una cosa. Voi sapete chi è la persona più importante del mondo che fa le più grandi divisioni? Voi lo sapete chi è? Il grande divisore sempre, che divide. Gesù accomuna e questo divide. È il diavolo. State attenti. Traduci.
Ungkapan yang di atas tadi, ungkapan tentang dua tetes air tadi, melukiskan persaudaraan secara sempurna. Tidak ada dua tetes air yang sama. Tidak juga dua saudara atau saudari, bahkan saudara kembar pun sama sekali tidak identik. Menghidupi persaudaraan karenanya berarti menyambut satu sama lain, mengakui satu sama lain sebagai sederajat di dalam perbedaan. Nilai ini pun akrab dengan gereja Indonesia dan diperlihatkan melalui keterbukaan yang dengannya kalian semua menunjukkan beragam kenyataan dari dalam dan luar yang dijumpai pada tingkatan budaya, etnik, sosial, dan agama. Secara khusus, gereja setempat menghargai sumbangsi dari semua orang dan dengan murah hati menawarkan bantuan dalam setiap situasi. Ini penting, karena mewartakan Injil bukan berarti memaksakan iman kita untuk mempertentangkannya atau mempertentangkannya dengan orang lain, iman orang lain. Dilarang untuk melakukan proselitisme. Selalu dengan sikap penghargaan yang besar dan kasih sayang persaudaraan untuk semua orang. Ya, saya terkesan dengan satu sikap, yaitu saling bergandengan tangan, seperti yang tadi diungkapkan oleh Romo Maxi. Nabi-nabi persatuan di dalam dunia ketika tendensi untuk memecah belah, memaksa dan memprovokasi satu sama lain kelihatannya terus-menerus meningkat. Dan satu hal yang beliau tambahkan secara spontan, kamu tahu apa yang mempunyai kepentingan atau apa yang memecah belahkan, apa yang meruntuhkan. Semua itu tentu saja adalah kerja setan. Jadi berhati-hati.
Cosa ti ha fatto ridere? È importante cercare di arrivare a tutti. Come ci ha ricordato Sorrina, con l'auspicio di poter tradurre in bahasa Indonesia, oltre ai testi della parola di Dio, anche gli insegnamenti della Chiesa, per renderli accessibili a più persone possibile. E lo ha evidenziato anche Nicolas, descrivendo la missione del catechista con l'immagine di un ponte che unisce. Questo mi ha colpito e mi ha fatto pensare allo spettacolo meraviglioso nel grande arcipelago indonesiano di migliaia di ponti del cuore, che uniscono tutte le isole e ancora di più a milioni di tali ponti che uniscono tutte le persone che vi abitano. Ecco un'altra bella immagine della fraternità, un ricamo immenso di fili di amore che attraversano il mare e superano le barriere e abbracciano ogni diversità, facendo di tutte un cuore e un'anima sola. Il linguaggio del cuore, non dimenticatevi.
Kita tadi sudah diingatkan oleh Suster Rina, penting untuk mencoba menjangkau setiap orang. Mengenai hal ini diharapkan bahwa tidak hanya teks-teks sabda Allah, tapi juga ajaran-ajaran gereja diterjemahkan ke dalam bahasa Indonesia agar dapat dijangkau oleh sebanyak mungkin orang. Nicholas juga menunjukkan perlunya menjangkau setiap orang, seraya melukiskan misi seorang katekis dengan perumpamaan jembatan yang menyatukan. Hal ini menyentuh saya dan membuat saya berpikir tentang visi indah di dalam negara kepulauan Indonesia yang luas, yang terdiri dari ribuan jembatan hati yang menyatukan semua pulau, dan bahkan jutaan lagi jembatan yang menyatukan semua orang yang hidup di sana. Perumpamaan indah lainnya tentang persaudaraan adalah sebuah permadani besar dari benang cinta yang melintasi lautan, mengatasi rintangan-rintangan, dan merangkul semua perbedaan, membuat semua orang menjadi sehati dan sejiwa. Beliau tekankan jembatan kasih.
E veniamo alla terza parola, compassione, che è molto legata alla fraternità. Compassione vuol dire patire con l'altro, condividere i sentimenti. È bella parola. Come sappiamo, infatti, la compassione non consiste nel dispensare elemosine ai fratelli e sorelle bisognosi, guardandoli dall'alto in basso, guardandoli dalle proprie sicurezze e dei propri privilegi, ma al contrario, compassione significa farci vicini gli uni agli altri, spogliandoci di tutto ciò che può impedirci di chinarci per entrare davvero in contatto con chi sta a terra e così sollevarlo dan ridarle speranza.
Sekarang kita sampai pada kata ketiga, bela rasa, yang sangat terkait erat dengan persaudaraan. Kita tahu bahwa bela rasa tidak dibatasi saja pada memberi sedekah kepada saudara dan saudari yang membutuhkan, sambil memandang rendah mereka dari menara rasa aman dan keberhasilan kita. Sebaliknya, bela rasa berarti mendekatkan kita satu dengan yang lain, menghapuskan segala sesuatu yang menghalangi kita untuk turun menyentuh mereka yang ada di bawah, mengangkat mereka dan memberikan mereka harapan. Bandingkan Fratelli Tutti 70. Terlebih, bela rasa berarti merangkul mimpi dan hasrat mereka akan kebebasan dan keadilan, memelihara mereka, mendukung mereka sambil melibatkan orang lain, memperluas jaring dan batas-batasan untuk menciptakan kekuatan kasih yang luas dan besar.
Questo è importante, toccare la povertà. Quando io confesso, domando sempre alle persone adulte: tu dai elemosina? Mi dicono di sì, generalmente, perché è gente buona. Ma la seconda domanda: tu quando dai l'elemosina, tu tocchi la mano del mendicante? Tu li guardi agli occhi? O tu le butta la moneta da lontano per non toccarlo? Questa è una cosa che dobbiamo imparare tutti. La compassione significa soffrire, patire, accompagnare nei sentimenti a quello che sta soffrendo, abbracciarlo, accompagnarlo. E non solo.
Adalah penting untuk menyentuh orang-orang kecil atau kaum miskin. Ketika saya mendengarkan pengakuan, saya biasanya bertanya kepada orang, apakah dia atau orang itu pernah memberikan sedekah kepada orang miskin? Itu pertanyaan yang pertama. Lalu yang kedua, pertanyaannya, apakah dia juga menyentuh tangan orang yang meminta? Beliau ingin mengatakan bahwa kita tidak hanya memberi, tetapi juga bersentuhan langsung dengan yang meminta, kaum miskin, memandang ke dalam mata mereka. Itulah yang dikatakan tadi sebagai mengembangkan jaringan kasih.
C'è chi ha paura della compassione. Ci sono persone che hanno paura della compassione perché la considera una debolezza, soffrire con altri una debolezza, ed esalta invece come se fosse una virtù la scaltrezza di chi fa propri interessi mantenendosi a distanza da tutti, non lasciandosi toccare da niente e da nessuno, pensando così di essere più lucido e libero nel raggiungere i propri scopi. Purtroppo io ricordo una persona molto ricca, ricchissima, a Buenos Aires, ma che aveva il vizio di prendere più soldi. È morto, ha lasciato un'eredità enorme. E voi sapete quali erano le scherzi che facevano la gente? Poveretto, non hanno potuto chiudere la bara, voleva prendersene tutto e non ha preso niente.
Ada juga orang-orang yang takut dengan bela rasa karena mereka menganggapnya sebuah kelemahan. Sebaliknya, mereka menjunjung tinggi seakan-akan sebuah keutamaan kelicikan mereka yang melayani kepentingan diri mereka sendiri dengan menjaga jarak dari semua orang dan tidak membiarkan diri mereka disentuh oleh apapun dan oleh siapapun. Jadi mereka berpikir bahwa mereka lebih cerdas dan bebas dalam mencapai tujuan-tujuan mereka. Ini adalah cara yang salah dalam melihat realitas. Beliau memberikan sebuah contoh. Di Argentina, di Buenos Aires, beliau mengenal seorang yang kaya, yang selalu ingin menerima dari orang, mengeruk kekayaan melalui orang lain. Lalu orang-orang sekitarnya membuat sebuah lelucon mengatakan, anak yang malang, orang yang malang, karena dia begitu ingin mendapat dari yang lain, tetapi kemudian tidak bisa menutup peti jenazahnya sendiri.
Fa ridere così. Ma non dimenticate una cosa, il diavolo entra dalle tasche, sempre.
Setan selalu ada di dalam saku kita.
È vero?
Apakah Anda percaya?
Questo di avere delle ricchezze come sicurezza è un modo falso di guardare la realtà. Ciò che manda avanti il mondo non sono i calcoli di interesse che finiscono in genere con distruggere il creato e dividere le comunità, ma la carità che si dona, questo porta avanti, la carità che si dona, e la compassione non offusca la visione reale della vita, anzi ci fa vedere meglio le cose nella luce dell'amore, cioè ci fa vedere meglio le cose con gli occhi del cuore.
Yang membuat dunia bergerak maju bukanlah perhitungan kepentingan pribadi yang umumnya berujung pada kerusakan ciptaan dan pemecah belahan komunitas, tetapi mempersembahkan kasih kepada sesama. Bela rasa tidak menggelapkan visi kehidupan yang sejati. Sebaliknya, bela rasa membuat kita mampu melihat pelbagai hal lebih baik dalam terang kasih. Secara spontan beliau mengatakan, kita melihat realitas dengan baik hanya dengan mata hati.
E vorrei ripeterlo, per favore state attenti, non dimenticate, il diavolo entra dalle tasche.
Ya, oleh karena itu tolong jangan lupa, setan selalu ada di dalam saku.
In proposito, il portale di questa cattedrale nella sua architettura mi sembra riassuma molto bene quanto abbiamo detto in chiave mariana. Esso infatti è sorretto al centro dell'arco e a sesto acuto da una colonna sulla quale è posta una statua della Vergine Maria. Ci mostra così la Madre di Dio prima di tutto come modello di fede, mentre simbolicamente sostiene col suo piccolo sì tutto l'edificio della Chiesa. Il suo corpo fragile, appoggiato alla colonna, alla roccia che è Cristo, sembra infatti portare con lui su di sé il peso di tutta la costruzione, come a dire che essa opera il lavoro dell'ingegno dell'uomo non può sostenersi da sola. Maria appare poi come immagine di fraternità, nel gesto di accogliere in mezzo al portale principale tutti coloro che vogliono entrare, è la madre che accoglie. E infine è anche icona di compassione. Nel suo vigilare e proteggere il popolo di Dio che con le gioie, i dolori, le fatiche e le speranze si raduna nella casa del Padre, è la madre della compassione.
Berkaitan dengan ini, kita melihat arsitektur pintu masuk utama katedral ini dengan titik berat pada corak Marianya, merangkum dengan baik apa yang telah kita katakan tadi. Di pusat lengkungan yang menunjuk ke atas, terdapat pilar yang di atasnya ada patung perawan Maria. Hal ini menunjukkan kepada kita bahwa Bunda Allah di atas segala-galanya adalah teladan iman. Tetapi dia juga secara simbolis menopang seluruh bangunan gereja melalui ya-nya yang sahaja terhadap rencana Allah. Tubuhnya yang rapuh, yang diletakkan di atas pilar, di atas batu wadas yang adalah Kristus sendiri, seolah memikul beban seluruh bangunan bersamanya, seolah-olah mau mengatakan pada akhirnya bahwa karya manusia dan kecerdasan manusia tidak dapat mendukung dirinya sendiri. Oleh karena itu, Maria dalam hal ini tampil sebagai citra persaudaraan, sebagai sikap yang menyambut di tengah pintu masuk utama kepada mereka semua yang ingin masuk. Akhirnya Bunda Maria juga merupakan sebuah ikon bela rasa yang mengawasi dan melindungi umat Allah yang dalam suka dan duka mereka bekerja dan berharap yang berkumpul di rumah Bapa.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, mi piace concludere questa conversazione riprendendo ciò che San Giovanni Paolo II, in visita qui alcuni decenni or sono, ha detto proprio rivolgendosi ai vescovi, ai sacerdoti e ai religiosi e religiose. Citava il versetto del Salmo: «Letentur insule multe», gioiscono le isole tutte, e invitava i suoi ascoltatori a realizzarlo, rendendo testimonianza alla gioia della resurrezione e dando la vita così che anche le isole più lontane possano gioire udendo il Vangelo di cui voi siete veri predicatori e insegnanti e testimoni. Anch'io vi rinnovo questa esortazione e vi incoraggio a continuare la vostra missione forti nella fede, aperti a tutti nella fraternità e vicini a ciascuno nella compassione. Forti, aperti e vicini, con la fortezza della fede, l'apertura per accogliere tutti. A me, stai attento, a me colpisce tanto quella storia del Vangelo, quando gli invitati a nozze non hanno voluto venire e non sono venuti, e cosa fa il Signore? Si amareggia? No, ha capito qualcosa quell'uomo e manda i suoi: andate all'incrocio delle strade e portate tutti dentro con questa cosa tanto bella che andare avanti con la fratellanza, con la compassione, con l'unità, tutti. E penso io a tante isole, no? Tante isole che il Signore dice alla gente buona, a voi, tutti, ma quello è tutti. Anzi il Signore dice una cosa: buoni e cattivi, tutti.
Saudara-saudari yang terkasih, saya ingin menutup refleksi ini dengan mengulangi apa yang Santo Yohanes Paulus II katakan ketika memberikan sambutan kepada para uskup, klerus, dan biarawan-biarawati selama kunjungannya di sini beberapa puluh tahun yang lalu. Mengutip ayat berikut ini dari kitab Mazmur 97 ayat 1, Letentur insule multe, yang berarti biarlah banyak pulau bersuka cita. Beliau mengundang para pendengarnya untuk melaksanakannya dengan menjadi saksi sukacita kebangkitan dan melalui pemberian diri demikian sehingga bahkan pulau-pulau yang paling jauh pun dapat bersukacita karena mendengar Injil yang mana Anda semua adalah para pewarta, para guru, dan saksi-saksi yang otentik. Saya juga ingin membaharui ajakan ini dan saya mendorong Anda untuk meneruskan misi Anda dengan menjadi kuat dalam iman, terbuka kepada semua dalam persaudaraan, dan dekat dengan satu dengan yang lain dalam bela rasa. Saya memberkati Anda dan berterima kasih kepada Anda semua atas semua hal baik yang Anda lakukan pada hari ini. Beliau menekankan kembali pentingnya ketiga nilai yang dibawa sebagai moto dan menekankan kembali sikap inklusivitas semua nilai-nilai yang beliau tekankan lagi, persaudaraan, bela rasa, ya semua, karena di sini banyak pulau.
Anche io vi rinnovo questa esortazione e vi incoraggio a continuare la vostra missione, forti nella fede, aperti a tutti nella fraternità e vicini a ciascuno nella compassione. Fede, fraternità e compassione. 3 parole che vi lascio e voi pensate dopo. Fede, fraternità e compassione. Vi benedico, vi ringrazio per il tanto bene che fate ogni giorno in tutte queste isole belle. Prego per voi, prego, ma per favore vi chiedo di
Jadi sebenarnya sudah diterjemahkan tadi, beliau membaharui ajakannya dengan menekankan 3 hal sebagai moto kunjungan beliau pada hari ini. Secara khusus beliau tekankan kuat dalam iman, terbuka kepada semua dalam persaudaraan, dan dekat dengan satu sama lain dalam sikap atau bela rasa. Jadi beliau tekankan lagi, iman, persaudaraan, dan bela rasa. Ketiga hal ini ingin saya tinggalkan untuk Anda kalian semua. Terima kasih untuk segala sesuatu, semua kerja yang Anda lakukan, dan jangan lupa berdoa untuk saya. Tetapi berdoa dengan senang hati. Ya.
Let us all kneel and pray of Ave Maria.
Ave Maria.
Ave Maria, ognuno nella propria lingua. Ave Maria, piena di grazia, il Signore è con te. Tu sei benedetta fra le donne e benedetto è il frutto del tuo corpo. Santa Maria, Madre
Dio, prega per noi peccatori, adesso è l'ora della nostra morte. Amen.
Domino vobiscum.
Et cum spiritu tuo.
Sit nomen Domini benedictum.
Et cum nunc et seculum.
Aiuterium nostrum in nomine Domini.
Qui fecit caelum et terra.
Benedicat vos, omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
Congregations are allowed to sit. As the last session of our meeting, there will be 2 photo sessions of the Holy Fathers with the bishops attending this event. In the first session, we would like to invite the President Bishops of the Indonesian Bishop Conference and the Emeritus Bishop of Indonesia and some other bishops who have been assigned for the photo session.
That's very encouraging to hear.
He did really highlight also about Indonesia as a big country, so we should live in harmony, hand in hands together, right?
So maybe Father Tiro, Father Mardi, if you can get your thoughts of that beautiful sermon we just saw together and the blessing from Pope Francis. But maybe we can get your comments first from a moment at the beginning. We hear people from the Catholic community, priests, nuns, and teachers welcoming Pope Francis to Indonesia, and then each saying why this visit is special to them. Now, what makes this interesting, because we said earlier that Indonesia is a Muslim majority country. That is why probably it's one of the reasons why Pope Francis chose to visit Indonesia to convey a message of peace and tolerance. But at the same time, Indonesia is actually one of the country that sent the most missionaries into the world. So this can also be seen as an act of appreciation from Pope Francis to the priests and nuns and teachers in Indonesia who have helped in spreading the message of Catholicism, not just in Indonesia, but throughout the world. What do you think of this, Father Tiro?
Well, I think it is something that it's very touching to be acknowledged as a nation, but also as a minority in a Muslim nation. And it just shows that we are able to do this because of this tolerance, because of this environment, the richness of culture. He also highlighted the richness of flora and fauna, you know, and then saying that this is all gifts from God. I really loved how he used the expression that no drops are the same. And that shows us that, you know, differences is something that is given by God himself or herself. And this is something that makes us rich, more rich, and more, gives us more reason to know, to just give and to love. And also appreciates all the hard work by the frontliners who are the religious teachers, and also highlights the importance of religious education in the home by the mother, the grandmother, the father, which is something that's also very universal, you know. I mean, so yeah, I mean, there's just so much to just reflect and to seep in. And fortunately, we will have a published copy that probably will be out in a week or so, an official document, because this is the official Pope's teaching, not only for Catholicism, but for the world. And and having something that's so universal and touches the soul, and it's simple. It's too no words can explain.
I think that's what makes it special. I mean, amidst all the grandeur and the majesticness of the cathedral, we hear these values and stories that are universal, as you said, and very familiar to all of us Indonesians. It doesn't matter what our religious background is, where we're from, but we all share this sort of values of family and shared fraternity.
Yes, that's right. It's very simple indeed, but also yet it's very grand as well, very deep in meaning philosophy. So Father Mardi, what will be your highlights from the Pope's messages at the Cathedral today, as we just seen it together?
I would like to underline what he has also said, that he was glad, he is glad to be able to come here. And I remember that Sukarno has once said that there are a very big resemblance, very near meaning between the Catholicism and the Indonesian values. Why? We have the Pancasila. And what is in the Pancasila? I don't begin with the first sila, with the last sila. The last sila would like to underline that we are the same, that we are brothers. And that's why it is very important that we see you, we listen to you, because you are my sister, my brother. And that's why that we belong together. And that's why that we have to talk with one another. That is, the first one was the fifth sila.
Yeah.
The same. You are the same.
Yeah.
You are the same with me. Also, we have our own
backgrounds,
and our own blood and so on. But we have to talk with one another as friends, as sister, as brother,
as equals,
as equal. And that is the relationship between Sila 5 and Sila 4. That's why that we have to talk with one another. Otherwise, I won't treat you as the same. And then afterwards, it is very important to say that we belong together. That is number 3. And what does it mean? Tutti fratelli.
We're all
we belong together.
one family.
One family. What is that? That is very important. And that means, don't forget that we are all human. Human being that was created by God. By God. That means that the beginning was God. And the pilgrimage is by God and with God. And where to? To God. Not to me. And that is very important because otherwise we will be egoistic. But we belong together and so on.
So to remind us to have a sense of compassion and also a sense of humility to make sure we know our place in this world.
And that means that what he as Pope would like to express is very much in common with what we feel as Indonesians also.
What he was also highlighted, I think he also did mention about becoming a bridge to others on his message, yes?
Yes, that's true. So at the very end of his remarks, he mentioned some passages from the book of Psalms, which was also used by Pope John Paul II on his visit to Indonesia. Now you will remember that it was an immensely successful visit by the Pope at that time. Now we still have a few days to enjoy Pope Francis's visit to Indonesia. Tomorrow is going to be a big day for the Catholic community in Indonesia. We're going to see Pope Francis lead a Holy Mass at the Gelora Bung Karno Stadium, and in the morning we'll see him doing an interfaith dialogue at the Istiqlal Mosque. Now, maybe as a closing statement, if I could have both of you stating your hopes and wishes for tomorrow and for the rest of the visit by Pope Francis. Father Tiro.
I think for me, my hope and wish for the papal visit is so that Indonesians realize all the good that they have. The tolerance, the brotherhood, family, diversity, and make us even more proud, and for us to focus more on how we take care of the country that we live in with humility, with compassion, and compassion not as I'm over here and you're over there, but as equals walking together. Yeah, simple, difficult to do, but let's hope that this will become a good mark for the next government coming in. So
So helping others, actually helping and touching their hands and looking them at the eyes, not just
as like objects of charity.
Right.
Father Marty, would you like to add on this as well? Please.
I'm glad to hear that. And I would like to make it a little bit lighter. What does it mean?
Yes, please.
I remember what this Pope has written. under the word Amoris Laetitia. That means Amoris, amor, love. Laetitia is happy, or I am happy, or I am glad, and so on. That means that we are glad that this Pope has asked us to be full of gladness. Let us be very, very glad that he has come. Not only that, that he has asked us, all of us, to remember that we have to spread
joy,
the evangelium. And that means the thing that we have to do is to spread the joyful freedom, but also the joyful sisterhood, brotherhood, and the joyful loving together as brothers and sisters. Fratelli tutti. Fratelli tutti. Excuse me.
Not frutti tutti.
All right.
Not frutti tutti. Excuse me, because it is very, very, very.
That's all right, yes.
Yeah, Father Mardi, Father Tiro, we can say that we are very glad, very joyful, and very grateful to have you both in the studio with us on this very special occasion. Once again, thank you so much, Father Tiro Angelo Denui SJ and Father B.S. Mardiat Mojo, for your valuable time and insights. We truly enjoyed having you
truly
today.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I am also very glad, and excuse me all the errors that I have made.
None whatsoever.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Okay, hope to see you again in
Hopefully.
future special programs on TVRI World.
Just give me a call or slide a DM.
Yeah, will do.
Joyfully.
Yes,
Joyfully,
joyfully. All right, Stephanie, I think that's the end
Yes.
of our special report, the
Yeah.
Papal Blessing at the Cathedral. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, we'll be back tomorrow morning for the very special report to give you live coverage of the visit of Pope Francis in Istiqlal Mosque. And then in the afternoon, we'll also show you the Holy Mass in Gelora Bung Karno Stadium
The
in
Holy
Senayan,
Mass.
Jakarta.
Yes, exactly. So the Holy Mass will be attended. I think it's more than 9,000 people. More than 7,000 people will
The
attend.
last number
this
we
Mass.
had was 86,000 people.
86,000 people.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
around
so
that.
it's more than that.
Yeah,
Yes,
not just
so-
from Indonesia. I think people even from the region, around the region, will be coming in to Jakarta to
for this historic moment.
Yes, it is indeed. But right after this, we'll have Focus Today on TVRI World. So that's our cue to say
Sure,
goodbye for
yes.
now. I'm Siska Becker.
And I'm Stephanie Silitonga. Thanks very much for being with us for these 2 hours, and see you next time.
Goodbye.